Hello again, and welcome back to my new bed. As you can see, it's a little bit different today in that I got some new pillows and a new quilt. Check this out. So instead of that lovely teal that I like, now here's the funny thing is these pillowcases are actually rectangle and these pillows are actually square. But I managed to make it work. So it is a lovely pattern though. And I'm surprised at how much it actually cheered me up, to be honest. I switched it out and something about just the new pattern invigorated my brain. And I'm surprised how much happier it made me feel. So welcome back. I've been saying the last couple times that I was going to read some high school poetry, but I kept saving it for the end. And then by the time I was done talking about other things, I just didn't get around to it. So tonight, rather, at 1 a.m, we are going to just go ahead and read them straight away. That's the plan anyway. So in honor of High School Sam, trying to look a little bit punk rock today, maybe a little pop punk, trying to look a little pop punk rock of, I don't know, a blend of eras. A little bit high school, a little bit 2022 vibes. I don't know. I'm meeting somewhere in the middle here, but let's read some poetry. So, oh wait, I actually have to find it on my phone. So interesting story. So I've always been a poetry person. I've always loved poetry since I was very young. I used to just read it just for fun, all of the anthologies and things like that. I loved Emily Dickinson. She was my favorite. I think it was just because I think it was largely due to her very strict sort of ballad and meter system and her unique word choices. Like she has very fresh ways that she says things. So I think it was the rhymes, the meter, and just the very, yeah, she's good with the ballad structure, and it's very, which has kind of a sing-song fun sound to it. So I think that's kind of what drew me in. Which is a bit of an intro because at least one of these poems is a bit of a ballad, definitely written in the vein of Miss Emily herself. So, yeah. Let's go jump back to the late 2000s, shall we? A different time. All right, here we go. So it's funny how I actually found this is, well, okay, I guess I didn't find it. It found me, rather, would be a better way to say it. Yeah, it was a bit after I posted my bullet journal stuff for last month, and I got this message in my inbox of a poem. And so it popped up and I saw the stanza, and I had this very strange experience where I saw the words and it created a strange echo in my mind to see them, I would say. I saw the words and there was something oddly familiar. Like I started reading through and I was like, wait, I think I know this for some reason. created this strange echo in my brain. And then I was like, wait, I think I wrote this. I think that's one of mine. Because when I was looking at the structure, I was like, oh man, this sounds and reads just like one of my poems. Turns out that's because it is. Or these days, I've kind of I don't have as set of a structure as I used to. Like, I used to be very like intense, I would say, about my making sure the rhyming and the I ams were working, you know. These days, I let myself be a little more free form or flow, but I still love rhyme, and I still love to create that feeling, you know, the rhythm feeling. All right, so I'll stop stalling and I'll let's begin. Now, these were some poems that were published in our high school journal, so it's going to be very interesting. So the stanza that got sent to me was actually the first one of this first poem that I'm going to read right now. And yeah. So here's a poem that I wrote when I was a teenager called Nothing Quite as Helpless. There's nothing quite as helpless as one another aches, because you know and hate to know you can't entrap their flux. There's nothing quite as irksome as when, in empathy, you truly see or think you see, but words lose potency. There's nothing quite as useless as logic used to heal. It will not mend and cannot mend the way that listen will. There's nothing quite as fickle to equate rage with strength. It quickly dies, in weakness dies. A victim cannot slake. There's nothing so ironic as when the beads are strung, and all your woes, passing woes, make up a lowly sum. When strung beside them, countless pearls are threaded all day long. So, with this poem, it's actually quite an optimistic poem. So I kind of like that about that. If I were to redo it, I'd maybe switch a few word choices in there. But honestly, I am pretty pleased with this, honestly. I really put a lot of effort and time into it, and you can tell, I think. But that poem is actually based, the final line is actually based on an Emily Dickinson poem that I will read for you now, and we'll do a little analysis comparison here. So the final stanza of that line, or the final stanza of this poem reads, "There's nothing so ironic as when the beads are strung, and all your woes, passing woes, make up a lowly sum. When strung beside them, countless pearls are threaded all day long." And that is in reference to this Emily Dickinson poem. Now, Emily doesn't name her poems so much, but it begins like this. I like a look of agony because I know it's true. Men do not sham convulsion nor simulate a throw. The eyes glaze once, and that is death, impossible to feign. The beads upon the forehead, by homely anguish strung. And I kind of feel like, man, Sam, could you possibly have picked a more depressing poem to base that final line on? But essentially, I was drawing a comparison between the beads on the forehead of the dead, strung as if a necklace, and basically saying these beads of pain that cannot be feigned. And that's why Emily likes a look of agony, because you can't fake it. Won't quite align with that. But the idea is that the beads of agony compared to the pearls are nothing in comparison, which is, I don't know, quite optimistic. I like the attitude where it's coming from. I don't know if it's true, but it is the stuff of poets. It is the kind of thing they would say, I think, and I think the spirit of it is true, at least. Yep. It's a poem about wanting to help other people in pain. It's about how all the pain isn't the only thing, I guess. I don't know. I have always had a bit of an optimistic streak to me. In my younger days, I used to be a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Untempered. We'll say that. All right. So here, we'll read the other poem that's in here. These are the only two, at least on this page, that got sent to me. I mean, I probably have the zine somewhere in a box somewhere or something, but I don't know what it is. So this is the only two poems that we have. I think I do know where some other old poetry of mine is. Well, I know where a lot of old poetry of mine is. I've got tons and tons of journals, in fact, that are just chock full of them. Maybe I'll show them to you in a minute. Maybe. It's just so you can see how much pickled poetry is waiting for you and for me. Anyway, here's the second poem that I will read to you, that I wrote as a teenager. And it is called In Nonchalance. I'll bend with grace just this once, my spirit like a reed, dipping soft in nonchalance, back broken by a breeze. The loser yields just this once, submit to who has won, bowing deep with nonchalance until the shame is gone. I'll loose my grip just this once and let my thimble slip, faltering, false nonchalance. Deny this needle prick. So this one is very funny to me, actually. It's kind of this idea of using nonchalance as a shield, I suppose. And then the moment that the mask of nonchalance slips, you get pricked, something like that. Anyway, I wrote that also in high school. I always have had a bit of a, I don't know what to make of that. It made me laugh pretty good though, didn't it? I'm just, I don't know. It's a very proud poem, that one. Yeah, it's a very proud poem. So those are a couple poems I wrote in high school, and I'm going to tell you this other story. Okay. In high school, there was this grammar class that I took, and I don't know why. I have always, for a professional writer, like, it was really hard. The class was just hard for me for whatever reason. And I remember that I was struggling with some of the stuff because of some test scores, and there was some options, though, some extra credit options available, a few different things you could do. And one of the options was actually you could write and submit a volume of poems, several poems. There was, like, a volume of poems, that you wrote, and you could submit that, and you could get up to this many extra credit points. And so anyways, I, being a little bit of an overachiever, just wanting to do my best in life kind of person, didn't really like the scores as much. So I took him up on that offer. I was like, you know what? I write poetry all the time. I got so much. I'll just polish some of these guys, send them out. So that's what I did. I sent this whole stack of poetry. I got full extra credit score, and I ended up getting pretty good score in the class in the end, between that and the work I did. And yeah, I submitted that to him, and let me tell you, this teacher, he was very impressed. He was very, now I don't say this to toot my horn, I say it because there's a story connected to it, but I think he was just weirded out that a high school student, like, went out of her way to just write a whole big old chunk of poetry. I think he was more just stunned by that because it is a little bit weird. I'm not going to lie. I used to just read poetry all the time too. Like, instead of talking to people, I had this little volume. I still have it. It's over there. It's fallen to pieces at this point, of, like, Emily Dickinson poems, and I would just read them obsessively. And other poems, mostly. Sometimes other things. But poetry was always my favorite. I don't know. I always liked the rhymes. The rhymes have always been very soothing for me. And anyways, to continue that story. Anyway, the reason why I told this story is because, he even brought it up to the class, and he even read some of my poetry to the class. And I had a classmate or two approach me and say they liked my poetry afterwards, which was nice of them. But the reason why I bring this up is because then my sister had the same teacher in class, and he was just, apparently, when she went, he was still just ranting and raving about my poems to the whole class. And I just think, how annoying. I am so sorry. Like, it's kind of a funny story, but in retrospect, I'm like, this is super annoying, isn't it? To have, like, to be in class, and then the teacher just won't be quiet about your older sibling. That sounds really annoying, but I thought it was really funny and very flattering that apparently he still brings it up sometimes. So that's funny. I actually think my sister did something cooler for his class personally. Sure, I wrote a thing of poetry to try and improve my grade, but she did a project with Scarlet Letter, you know, that book that we read. And she did an experiment where she did a whole experiment paper thing, really cool, I think, where she dressed up in kind of like a scandalous outfit, you could say, and tried just walking around in public places. And she wrote about the experience and how it felt to have, you know, the symbolic A, you know, to wear it, which I think is actually very brilliant and clever. So yeah, I bet he still talks about that as well. You know, you got the couple of golden children over here or something, I guess. But that's a funny story of my life from high school. And there you go. Let's see. What else was I going to do now? I'm glad I did that first. I feel good about how that went. Let's see. Here's what I'll do. The next thing that I'll preview for you guys. Oh yeah. So, let's see. As far as my bullet journal YouTube video, I will get it up tomorrow or today, I guess. Today. I'll get it up today because I'm just gonna do my darndest to do that because it is the last day of July, so that would be good. But I would like to. I had a lot of fun with my journal design this month, and I would like to. Where's my journal? Actually, I'm gonna get it for a second and get something for you guys anyway. Okay. Oh. All right. Okay. Let's do it. All right. So my July journal, which some of you may have seen if you've been following. But yeah, this one. So I ended up doing a kind of a poll just to see. I wondered if any of the soda flavors would be anybody's particular favorite. I don't know why this design came in mind. Honestly, I just like cute packaging. So I just wanted to design some cute drinks. I had the idea and I decided I had the idea in what comes before July? Whatever month that was. That one. June. Because I had the idea to do this in June. I don't know. So I just kind of made myself do the idea, even though it was actually really, really hard. I picked a very difficult, involved sort of thing for myself, I gotta say. But I did do a poll to see if I could discover which is the favorite. Oh, I need to tally up the grand totals because I want to add that to my July flip through of my journal, which honestly, I know that most girls, I mean people, but mostly ladies, post their bullet journal stuff at the beginning because you're trying to like, yay. But I've decided, and I might still do that sometimes, but I've decided to be a bit of a rebel about it, to be honest. I actually have been kind of liking doing it towards the end because then I can actually talk about the month, like, and it's more of like a retrospective for me because I liked that last month. That was good. How I kind of talked about, I don't know, how it became kind of a retrospective vlog-like thing. So I think I might try to do that. I'm going to do that with this as well and just give the results of the poll and all that. But honestly, there wasn't one that was specifically more favorite than the others. But I think that the top two favorites were probably the lightning, the lemon, and the mulberry, the moon one. Those ones were probably the top two favorites. I think. I guess we'll see when I do the full totals. I guess we'll see. But yeah. So I'll do that. I already have most of the elements for it. I just gotta finish it. Anyway. What else? Oh, right. I just grabbed this. So yeah, I did that. I grabbed this box just while we're talking about all of the poetry. It's a cookie tin. Butter cookies, which are tasty from Grandma. Okay. But look at this. Look at this. And you see these guys are, maybe it doesn't look like that much because they're stacked up. But like, look at that. Oh my gosh. But like, look at that. Look at that. You see that? You see all that? You see these? See these? I have more places. I just gotta locate some of them, but you see that? Those are all, how many do I have here? That's about 20, 18, 19, 20. I know that I have more around here. So I've got like at least that many. I've got like at least 20. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I've got a bunch. And they are full of so many things. Anyway, I have a plan. I've had a plan for a while of what to do with them. I just have to enact that plan. But just know, look at all of these journals I've got. They're jarred. They're pickling. They're just filling with flavor and potency as I go along because I'm just going to get better. Just you wait. All right. I got those. Since I bothered to grab those for you. Oh, I was in another podcast, another Hummingbird Blink podcast from the lovely and amazing Jazz Marie Core. So go check that out. It's episode, what number am I in? 78? Anyway, it's the space-themed one. So the poem, it was actually something that I did for the What the February challenge. I wrote a poem for one of the things just for fun. And I wrote a couple poems, but that was one that I did. And I just was like, I've got this space-ish themed poem. I'll read that and do a little. So I read the poem. I do a little spiely murmur, basically like this. And yeah, check it out. It's pretty cool. It's a good podcast. There's lots of cool music too. So yeah, I'm in it sometimes while I'm still doing my stuff as well. Anyway, okay. I'll just say this. I hit one of my goals. I hit one of my Instagram goals the other day. I've since kind of fallen, but it's okay. I'm halfway to 1,000 officially, you guys. Halfway to 1,000. I've been waiting for this goal for a while. So I was pretty excited. What was weird too is I don't even know how it happened. I was looking at it because I was like, oh, I'm so close. I'm so close to 500. I was like, I've only got 2 more. I mean, it wasn't that like I'm not that concerned about it, but I was like, yeah, it'll happen one of these times. And you know what the weird thing is the very next load me. So, oh no. Okay, sorry. It said the connection was unstable. I thought that I had made it so it wouldn't do that this time, but okay, hopefully that's the only time that it does that. But yeah, it was weird. I think that maybe some people, either their accounts must have gotten reactivated or something. I don't know. Maybe it was a couple bots that just suddenly got flipped back on because all of a sudden I was like, ugh, I woke up and I was like, how this happened? I don't know. It's like magic, man. And anyway, I've just kind of been, doing that thing, but it's fine. I hit my goal. I'm really excited about it. That was like my first big Instagram milestone I was looking forward to. And I didn't grow. It could have gone faster, but you know what? I did it the old-fashioned way. I just did it the random way. I just did it hashtag, well, not random, but just through hashtags, networking, and just trying to make something authentic or something. Yeah. I feel like if I just had a set thing, then I feel like it would be easier for me. But because I insist on doing this explorative thing, it just, I don't know. I'm just still finding the focus, but the focus is being found. It's there. The focus is there. I'll give you a preview on August right now. So, but yeah, check it out. Oh yeah, the whole reason of me telling you that is because I redid some art and stuff for that poem that I wrote. So I will be posting that in the next couple of days. Sorry it takes me so much time. I don't know. Things always take me way longer than I think they're going to. I was like, oh, it's gonna be fine. It'll be so fast. And it always takes way longer. Even when I'm accounting for it to take longer, it usually even takes longer than that. So I think that's just a tip for life, to be honest. So for August, I already decided, honestly, the quilt is kind of what inspired me. And so once I decided on the theme, I just decided I was going to go for it. So here's kind of like my practice sheet for August. Here's the colors that I'm going with. We'll start with that. As you can see, I plan to do a kind of a blue and a pink and a purple sort of. Those are the colors that I want kind of to play with, that sort of pinky, purpley, blue spectrum part of the rainbow. I'm probably going to go with these top ones there. So, and as you can see, so basically my plan is I'm just going to make a bunch of patterns. You see that? I just think that'll be really fun to do, to be honest. I think that'll be really fun and therapeutic if I just each of these different like strips of lacy shape. I don't know if they were, so that's the plan. So they're all going to be like a different pattern or color, and these test squares, I'm going to fill those up with patterns. I'm still kind of, I did a little bit of research into some patterns, so we'll see. But the theme of the month is the patterns layer. Because I do think that's how it goes. You got to layer the patterns. They layer and they build together and they create something else. Okay, well, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I will do that. Here, I'll do it this way. Oh, as a lighthearted thing to say just right now, happy birthday to George Jetson. Apparently tonight, I mean, technically today, since it's 1:30, 1:55 in the morning right now. So on July 31st, 2022 specifically is George Jetson's birthday from the Jetsons, that old cartoon show. I used to watch it sometimes. To be fair, I feel like them and the Flintstones, it was kind of an interesting thing. I mean, even that was like before my time. It was like that was like the reruns in your parents' roller Flintstones. Anyways, I do think it's really interesting that they made like a stone-aged cartoon and a space-aged cartoon at the same time. It's almost like they were just pitting the worlds against each other just to see who was more popular, you know? It's almost like this great, it's like the first separation. You know? It's like, you know, instead of good and evil, it's like Stone Age versus Space Age. And it's like the first media separation. I'm sure it's not, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just the way that I'll think about it. It's kind of how it feels a bit in my mind. I bet you anything, if you go back and watch those shows nowadays, they're probably like really, really super offensive. So I'm not saying I'm a Jetsons fan or anything, because it's probably really offensive. But you know, if one comment I did want to make, I mean, I don't know, it's imaginative, it's fun. You know, it's fun to go to see what past people thought the future would be, which is, it's really interesting because somebody posted a meme saying, heads up, somebody's going to be birthing George Jetson tomorrow, today. And I thought that was very, very funny, actually. So anyways, happy birthday, George, wherever you are in this world. I hope that by the time you're an adult, the world really does look like that. But I mean, the sci-fi people of the past really did have high expectations for us. I still think we have it in us, you know, but I mean, I suppose I would have thought that by 2022 things would be a little more of the future as well. But I mean, we carry around little tiny computers in our phones, and our whole world is different, and the way the economies work and everything is really different. It's just not everything is actually quite futuristic. It's just not the futuristic we expected, perhaps, you know. Anyway, so happy birthday, George. Happy birthday. And let's see. Rainy day run. So the other day, I've been feeling kind of a lot of feels lately. I've been so filled with emotions. Some really good emotions, to be honest, but also some really challenging emotions, and some that are both good and painful. You know, some that are just a blend, a beautiful, terrible blend. But that's life. That's the things you live for sometimes, I think. Life is just kind of that mix. The good with the bad. And you just hope that the good is more good. But I had this day, so I've been getting, I used to do more kind of like midday exercise or into the evening, but I've been switching it up, and I decided, I was like, I'm going to be the morning run person. And I've been doing really good with that, actually. And I been getting in a good habit. It's Saturday today, you guys. Oh, or it was Saturday. I woke up at 5:30. And I went for a run at 7 in the morning on a Saturday. Just because I had this moment with myself where I was like, let's go for a run. And I was like, at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, how cheeky. Let's do it. I was like, I so want to be that person today. So that's what I did. Also, I didn't know I was going to be this person today. This outfit kind of took me by surprise. I kind of decided on it when I decided I was going to do a live stream of reading my poetry. So that's how this choice came about. Anyway, so I had this moment though. It was a rainy morning. It was beautiful out. It was a Friday. I guess it was last Friday. This was last Friday. And Friday morning, about 9:00, and I went for a run in the graveyard, which is my favorite place to go running because it's gridded out very nice. And you can go up the hill if you want some extra resistance. You can go across the grid if you want less. It's great. It's a good system. Lots of cool stuff to look out. You run into animals and things. Ran into a coyote the other day. In fact, I was having a moment. Here was another moment where I was thinking of myself and I was thinking of my life and I was thinking of being a scrappy lone wanderer in the city, you know, surviving loner life, wandering through the desert, that sort of thing. And as I was having those thoughts and I was really sinking into it, and do you ever do that where you try to step with purpose and you try to move with emotion inside of you and you try to be the thing that you feel? Well, I was walking like that through the graveyard as some sort of like post-apocalyptic, like, you know, Mad Max scrappy character, you know, sort of feel. And I look over, and I kid you not, walking parallel, I see something out of the corner of my eyes, and walking on the road parallel below me, directly parallel from me, I look over and there's this coyote. And we're just walking parallel to each other, and I'm like, ooh. You know, you hear about things of like spirit animals and such things. And if such moments do exist, that was certainly one, I must say. And I had this moment where I just was like, yes, here we are, the coyote walking through the graveyard. Yippee! I kind of don't know what sound they make. It's somewhat like that. And anyway, we did end up crossing paths later in the walk as well. And it was a nice moment where he was going one direction and then I was going this. And then he actually turned to cross paths with me. We had this moment where he kind of sat across from me and smiled. I swear he gave me the biggest coyote smile there is before carrying on his way. Sorry, there's this hair. Okay. Anyway, that was a nice moment I had in the graveyard, but that's not the moment I was intending to tell you about. The other one was, it was 9:00 on a Friday morning, and I was having this moment at this particular grave that I like to go and connect, and I don't know, it's just one that I like. I like to talk to the spirits there. I think that they're good listeners of that one in particular. It's the grave of the unknown dead, and I think that's an interesting sort of monument. And I was there marveling over the way that, because for a while I tried to line up these coins, and then people just kept adding and kept adding and kept adding, and now it's just this explosion of coins, and I don't even try to arrange it anymore. I just let it be wild, and I feel like that's kind of it really gave me a lot to think about, to be honest, that idea, that philosophy of how every time I would go and I would arrange the coins in a certain pattern until it got to the point where I was like, I can't, there's too much, you know? And I was thinking of playing that somehow, you know? How I think that that's kind of something that I'm experiencing right now, where I'm trying to keep everything in order, and I'm trying to keep everything in order. But when maybe it would be better to just let it be, just let it be wild and let it be a little bit of a mess, and it can still be nice. That kind of idea. So I had a moment at that grave, and it started just raining down, and it started pouring, and it was this downpour, and it's this warm summer rain, warm summer rain. And I just start running through the graveyard. The music is wonderful. The rain feels so good, and it's full on rain now. And I gotta say, I was immensely blissed out. It was the best I'd felt in a long time. And the thing is, well, okay. I have lots of maybe I shouldn't say in a long time. I have lots of joy that I don't know, weave through my life. And I don't know. I just had this moment where I was so happy. I was running in the rain, and I was getting drenched, and I was just blissed out is the way that I described it to myself. Just utterly blissed out. And it was just from this act of running in the rain, Then I went back and I finished my day, and it was lovely. But that moment really started it out right, I've got to say. I don't know. I just wanted to share how sometimes these moments sneak up on you too. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen. And by the time I got home, I was totally drenched, but I was so happy. I was just really happy. It made me laugh. I've actually been laughing a lot lately. Again, I never used to be able to laugh. I was thinking of maybe talking about this one time more officially, but I didn't used to know how to laugh. And then at some point over the past several years, I unlocked my laughter. And I feel like it was hiding again for a while, but I don't know. Life feels funny again lately, and that makes me happy. Anyway, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, the rainbow. There was this rainbow in the 4th of July. Which do I want to talk about first? Maybe I'll talk about 4th of July. I didn't really do too much for 4th of July just because my plan was, I went and I got some stuff. I wanted to be, originally I planned to go a little bit earlier, but this time I decided that I was going to, I wanted to go shopping actually the day of, because I was like, I actually want to be part of the hustle and bustle. I actually want to. And it was fun. So I went and I got a couple, I don't know, I bought some hamburgers stuff to make some fancy burgers for myself. And they were quite delicious. And my plan was there's a park not too far off. So I was going to go up there and watch the fireworks, because if you go up there, you can see all of the fireworks in the whole valley, and it's beautiful. The past couple of years, I actually did that, where I just went up to the park, and it's been pretty deserted. It's been just me and a couple other wily scragglers, just because most people were, staying in. As for me, being the loner that I am, that was just my way of kind of spicing things up a little bit. You're outside, you're alone, and it was nice. This 4th of July, I was gonna go do that, so I made some lovely food. That's the main way that I try to celebrate most of the time, is I try to make myself some nice food. I cook something nice or order something fun if I prefer that. And anyway, I could see the fireworks from my balcony, which I hoped would happen. So there's a park, another park not too far off that direction as well. So I ended up just being able to hang out. So what did I do? I kicked back a couple beers. I hung out on my balcony and I had listened to some music, and I just had kind of a little dance party on my balcony with myself while I watched some fireworks in the distance, and it was quite nice. So that's what I did there. Um, I'm trying to be. I have a tendency to just have very low key holidays, so I'm trying to. I don't know. I would like to be more purposeful about doing fun things, but I used to just work them. So things I used to just work all of the holidays, just work an event for the holiday. It's a life. It's a way of life. Then you get to go to a party, but also have a purpose, which is kind of fun. Anyway, so that's what I did, and it was quite nice. Honestly, I enjoyed myself. Let's see. The rainbow situation. So there was a little bit of a rain, and there was this giant double rainbow out in the sky, and like, man, everybody in the valley, like, and everywhere could see it. Actually, my mom could even see it, and she lived a ways. And I don't know how, but this giant double rainbow was just in the sky and everybody saw it. There was pictures of it all over Facebook that day. And from my vantage point now, okay, here's something that and it's full arcs too. Well, it kind of went through some phases, but by the end it was a full arc, and it was beautiful and it was amazing. I just sat on my balcony and I just stared at it for a good 30 minutes, I'd say. I'm not even exaggerating. I just watched the rainbow. Because I was like, it was a really well-timed rainbow too. I really needed that rainbow at that moment. I was so sad. And then I looked out and I was like, wait, I think there's a rainbow out there. So I just sat on my balcony and I just watched the rainbow, and it was really nice. Oh, one thing that I did want to note that I think is really interesting is like part of the rainbow was just kind of going across, and then the other smaller double rainbow was like going down and landed like directly onto the hospital, and even directly onto the cross of the hospital. And I was kind of like, okay, I was like, okay, I can't deny that it's really weird that that rainbow is like landed directly on that cross right now. I was like, okay, this is really weird. I mean, it's only from my specific vantage point. I was just saying, like, I decided that the hospital was getting a good blessing, but I'm not gonna lie, I was like, it's really weird that it's like landing right on that cross right now. It almost makes one wonder if it's a sign from God. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I did think it was interesting. Maybe though. Maybe God is up there like, Sam, how much more obvious could I do it? Maybe one of you religious people watching that is thinking that right now, and maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe it was just a magical moment with a rainbow, and it means any number of things depending on what you want to think it means. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say it means something to me anyway. And it can mean whatever you want it to mean as well. It's the thing about symbolisms. They're very slippery. But I did have a moment with myself where I was like, I can't deny that's pretty weird. Can't deny it. All right. Anything else? Oh yeah. The last thing that I'll talk about really quick. I think I might do a full-on video on this, but I also have listened to 2 audiobooks over this last couple of weeks. I've been trying to rewrite my money mindset. I'm trying to level up my finances, figure some stuff out, because I just got to make more money, honestly. That's just what it boils down to, is I got to figure it out. And I just got to figure it out faster. So anyways, I have a bunch of books now that I'm going to read and listen to, so that'll be helpful. One of them, so there's this book, Jen Cicero, You Are a Badass, and it's like, it's, you know, it's kind of a mindset, law of attraction-y thing. It's New York Times bestseller. It's kind of, you know, it's just kind of light, fluffy reading, but it's kind of fun. And if you want to, I don't know, if you need a little pick-me-up and motivation, I think it's not a bad choice if you're open to some weird ideas maybe. But so I decided that I was like, you know what, I'll listen to the money version of the book, which I'm not gonna lie, it was basically the money book was a money grab. And basically, if you have read the first book, you do not need that book, I promise you. but I'm gonna say it really was not a very good book. It was, well, okay. It was very basic. I don't think you should be going to Jen Sincero for money advice personally, but it did, I don't know, it was kind of fun. And it did kind of help me identify that perhaps my money mindset could use a little help, because one of the initial exercises was like, list out the reasons you deserve money. And I remember I sat there and I was like, I deserve money because I have earned it. And then I just sat there and I couldn't think of anything else. And I was like, you know, Sam, you can't think of any other reason why you deserve money other than because you earned it. Maybe there is something wrong with your money mindset. Maybe you do need to fix that. But anyway, it was very interesting. It was kind of interesting. And if anything, the grand takeaway from the book for me was, if she can do it, anyone can, I think. And, you know, she had a section of her book called If They Can Do It, where she listed off a bunch of normal people who made buco bucks. So I don't know. If they can do it, you can, I guess, is the basic thing. But anyways, if you've done any sort of self-help, and I keep saying that, if you've done any sort of self-help or law of attraction or anything like that, then you probably know pretty much what she's going to say. And she had kind of like some fun stories and things in there. There's this one story that I did want to, where and this is the thing that I want to explore more, maybe, about law of attraction, about how it's good to have a flexible mindset, but I think sometimes it causes it to go too far. Because she had this moment where she was like telling this story about this lady and her kids and how they got on the plane super late and they were having such a thing, and the one boy was being like a super big kind of brat about it, but she didn't frame it that way, though, which was interesting. And I kind of think she did that just to kind of, I don't know, just to kind of try to I don't know, stir things up, you know, trying to make it think different or something like that. But basically, the kid would not sit down until he got a window seat. And so basically, he was holding up the whole flight until somebody gave him a window seat, which, I mean, I think the normal response is to think, wow, what an unpleasant individual, you know, making everybody else's life a little bit harder in that moment. But she framed it up as, wow, look at that creator, you know, holding to his vision so firmly that the whole rest of the plane had to change just to suit his vision. And I was like, I guess that's one way to look at it. That, I think, is actually a concerning thing about law of attraction that I would like to explore a bit more, is I think it does kind of, as it is helpful, you know, to have to be able to frame things in better ways, and you can always frame things in helpful ways. But I think sometimes sometimes you should not frame things from an all positive perspective. Sometimes that's just not what's needed in the moment, in the moment, or appropriate. I don't know. I would like to explore that idea a bit more. So anyway, she brought it. So there were stories like that, and just she did have some funny lines, and it was enjoyable. And then the other one that I read is one called The Psychology of Money. What's the guy's name? Michael? Oh, I can't remember his last name. I think it's Michael Hurst, something like that. Hest. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'd say that book was much better, as far as it was another book about money mindset, but in a different way. It took it kind of as a psychology angle. I think the book made its arguments much better. However, I remember Jen's book much better. I think part of the issue is just that I'm lacking some financial literacy, I will admit. So there were some like terms and things that in the psychology of money that you were already kind of assumed to have some grasp of, that I only had the vaguest idea of what that meant. So I think if I just got a little bit of a vocab boost, if I just keep educating myself, I think it would be more helpful. So anyways, I'm going to re-listen to it. I think I'm going to re-listen to both of them and do maybe just another little compare contrast. But I think The Psychology of Money was much better. And it was pretty modern as well, because I think he said that it came out, or he talked about 2020 in it. So it must be pretty new, or or maybe there was a revision or something. That might have been it. But anyway, much better. But I did note that I didn't really remember the content as much. That could also be because I had just burned through, one book. So maybe I was just in kind of a not as paying attention mood. But all I know is that when I ended Jen Sincero's book, I went, huh, that book sucked. Like, that was super basic. I was like, that was it. That was actually what I said. Oh, that was it. Because it just ended so suddenly, and I felt like I didn't really learn very much. Sorry, Jen. It was fun though, and I remembered your book, I suppose. So good job. But yeah, The Psychology of Money, it was interesting because he brought up a lot of like tendencies of the ways that we tend to think of things versus the ways they play out in the market, which I think is helpful and good to keep in mind. And I feel like those two books are in some ways in direct contrast with one another. I think that Michael, I want to say was his name, would be utterly appalled with many of the things that Jen said. I mean, like one thing where she's like, I'm making 30K a year, and yet she's somehow going to find 85K to go to this financial coaching class. So you're going to somehow make almost 3 times your current income to go to this class to learn how to make money. And I'm like, if you can just magically make enough money to go to that class, why do you need it? Like there were just so many moments like that throughout You're a Badass at Making Money that made me go, not sound advice. It only works if you 100% want to buy into the law of attraction mentality. And I really tried, but I cannot do that comfortably, unfortunately. Although I do think there is something to it, and this is kind of my personal journey now. I do think there is something to it, and I think there's like, and this is just me personally. I think there's an actual magical element potentially, or it could just all be in your mind. Right? And maybe it just makes you feel better to believe in it, and it makes life feel slightly less futile. That's my other thing, is maybe it just feels a bit less depressing to believe that maybe good things can happen in your life, and maybe it's okay to let yourself do that. I don't know. I don't know. As long as you're not taking it overboard, maybe as long as you're not like praising a kid on a plane for holding everyone up until he got a window seat. Anyway, yeah. So those two books, I have some contrasting advice. And if I were to tell you to only listen to one, I would say listen to The Psychology of Money. However, if you want to have a good time, listen to the other one. Listen to Jen. So it's just up to you. Do you want to? Yeah, it depends on how much maybe what you feel like you need to learn. Maybe if you're a dude that knows all the money stuff, but you just need to lighten up, maybe you should listen to Jen. I don't know. Food for thought. So there's some thoughts on that. I might expand on them later. I might not. I'm still kind of deciding the exact purpose and mission of my platform. Right now, it's mostly just to create something and try to have some fun, try to make something fun for people. Yeah. Like I had a lot of fun making, that, earlier in July, how I did that poll. Well, I turned it into a little a personality quiz for everyone. So go check out my Instagram if you want to do a little personality quiz. And yeah, just based on some things that I noticed about the poll and the people that responded. So I just want to make fun things, and I want to explore ideas. The thing is I would like to enter the commentary space, but I'm having a hard time deciding how I should do that. And I there's a part of me that feels like I'm not educated enough. I don't know enough. But then the other part of me is like, so what? You don't have to know everything to get started. You can just do it. And part of me, I think it would be fun to kind of maybe get a discussion going. Maybe I can learn. That's something I'm considering, is like maybe I can just learn a lot if I try to get everyone to answer my questions for me. I can say my piece, and then people much smarter than me or that know much more about certain subjects than me can help me out. It's what we do. We humans, we need each other. All right. Why did I pull this up? Because I had a reason. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna end the stream now because I don't have any other notes. Anyway, I didn't really have a tune for that song. Sorry. Could have been better. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something in my journal. I'm going to read it and I'm going to end it that way. And then I'm going to go. A meandering diamond over here. I think I might do, Tell you what. I think I'm going to read two things to you. Because I showed you guys all my journals. The ones in the cookie tin over here. Ugh. These ones. I'm going to read this entry here. All right. So many journal entries pickled through the years, kept fresh, kept waiting for the moment to crack the jars of them open. I need to finish building my creative machine. Though it's begun to look a bit Seussian in design. elaborate, confusing, moving in many directions, unclear in mission. I simply keep adding so it takes on a life of its own. I think I'll make it, at least in part, with a jar opening mechanism. I need to set a process to make a product of what I put in. I need a clearer form to take it 3-dimension. I did like that though, because I've got this idea of wanting to build a creative machine, kind of a machine like a business. I want one. A bit Seussian in design, elaborate, confusing, and unnecessarily so. Moving in many directions. I'm trying to figure out which direction to cause all of the parts to move in this Seussian machine. That is, zigzag zog, and whatever it is I'm making. So I wrote this one July 19th. I think I'll end with this. A strong way to combat overwhelmment is simply to have a voice. When your own voice speaks loud enough, then the rest of the noise can't drown you out. Have your say through all of it, no matter how noisy it may be. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here with me. Until next time.